been going, well, we're right about a year's
It's coming up
time.
on a year.
Yeah, I remember back in January, we'd already kicked off and we were starting this, and I was 100,000 people, and guess what? Here we have it, and with that 100,000 people, we can win it. So, folks, we got to get out and canvass your neighborhoods, learn about these precinct conventions. That's where the ball starts rolling to the opportunity we may have of this brokered convention. Now, my understanding is, Don, and maybe you can clarify this for me, that to be the Republican nominee, there are, I think, where's that number? Okay, the number of delegates in total that are out there to be had are 2,380, and that's in the Republican side of the ballot, 2,380. So to win, you have to have 50% plus one delegate, and that works out to 1,191 delegates that a Republican candidate needs to get. Now, I read off a little while ago the numbers for the candidates. Huckabee, in one of the news agencies, is Huckabee's with 31, and CNN has Romney as a leader with 24. So nobody is close to the 1,191. That's the point of this. Nobody's anywhere near close to the 1,191 delegates necessary to win the nomination outright. So that's what is going to give us the opportunity to go to this brokered convention. But before we even talk about that, with that ultimate goal, is you've got to get out there and canvass your neighborhoods. You've got to find more Ron Paul people in your neighborhoods, get them to these precinct conventions, and become delegates. So, Don.
Very well said.
We've got about 8 minutes left, so
okay.
Go ahead and tell us some of the other important things that I might be leaving out here on this issue of brokered convention possibility.
Well, the importance of the popular vote, because here in Texas, if any candidate gets 50% or more within a congressional district, that candidate gets all of the delegates, which is pretty interesting, right? So now I live in Travis County is a weird animal because it's split up between 3 different congressional districts. But the point is that if our people coalesce in one district and do a good job in one congressional district, we could possibly win that congressional district and get all those delegates for Ron Paul.
Okay.
It's interesting, right? You don't have to win the entire state. You could win a handful of congressional districts and control all the delegates from those districts.
Okay.
Now, another interesting thing, too, is when you get to your state convention, you've got to have some really good, reliable Ron Paul people to put up to be elected as national delegates. There's an election that goes on at the state convention. I mean, people come out with, push cards and stickers and buttons and free cookies and water bottles. They're out there campaigning.
Just like those that we've seen on the TV
very
many times.
So there needs to be preparation for that.
Okay, so you said, for instance, in a congressional district, if 51%, if one of the candidates gets 51%, they're supposed to have all 3 of those
delegates. They get
delegates.
all 3 delegates.
But the thing of it is those 3 delegates that are assigned to, let's say, Mitt Romney. Let's say they're assigned to Mitt Romney. They could really be Ron Paul supporters at heart, though, right?
They could. What happens is, if it goes to a brokered convention, those delegates are bound to the popular vote winner in the first round.
In the first
round of voting.
Yeah.
So the whole point of a brokered convention is you have to come to a conclusion, and you've got to get somebody nominated. So what happens on each round of voting, if you don't have a winner, the rules keep getting more and more relaxed so that the delegates themselves can switch their votes so that you can get a winner.
Right.
Because if you had everybody up there that was bound to a candidate and the vote is all fractured as it is today, you would never come up with a winner.
And that's how we can win, folks, so is because even if they supposedly have delegates that are designated to other candidates, if these are Ron Paul in their heart people, then in the brokered convention, that's where the opportunity could come out that after the certain number of required votes that they have for their candidate, then they switch and vote for Ron Paul. That's where we get a chance to win, if I understand it right.
That's correct.
And so that's why we need to have those boots on the ground. That's our big strength right now is we've got them out there. We need to get the word out about the possibility of brokered convention going out to the 4 winds. That's why we're going to get this up on YouTube so we can get this word distributed. We've lost a week's time because of the New Hampshire debacle. We've lost about a week's time. We need to ignore all the popular vote primary results for the next couple of months. We just need to ignore that, and we all need to be out there working in our communities, because if we can get the Ron Paul numbers up into the 15% of the popular vote, 20% of the popular vote, that improves those chances of creating that brokered convention.
Dramatically.
So we've got control of our own destiny right there.
That's right.
It's if we just get to work.
Well, it would be nice to get some people from around the different states to talk to us about how the rules are different, in their states for precinct conventions and for selecting state and national delegates. That would be real interesting.
It gets dark early in the evening right now, so get those lists with those phone numbers, and we got to get off those keyboards. So when there's time between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m., if you have time, start out, just get on the phone. Get on the phone, call up those lists, find out who's already on your team, find out right away, and then go over there and visit them. Make phone calls between 6 and 9, and then say, hey, between 9 and 10, I'm going to come see you. I'm going to bring a yard sign, and I'm going to have some literature for you, and we're going to get this ball rolling. And then if you want a few numbers to phone call or a few streets in the nearby neighborhood that you'll walk for us, here's how we do it. So you got to multiply yourself. None of us have to be world beaters at this point. None of us have to take on the world. That's the problem, is all of us, we try to take on more than we can chew. It's real simple. Just canvas, canvas, canvas. Right, Don?
Knock on those doors, make those calls, and ID our voters. That's what this is about right now. I want to encourage everyone, wherever you are, make plans to be canvassing, knocking on doors, and phoning every weekend. I think we should be doing it every weekend right until the primaries conclude.
And Saturday is probably the best day, right?
Saturday's great, and Sunday afternoon. We were
Saturday.
out. I was out both days this weekend, and I intend to keep going out up to our March 4th primary.
So what kind of percentages, what's your feel out there on the street like that? I haven't canvassed yet, but I'm going tomorrow. The last time I canvassed was in my race that I worked in 06 in the Cruzy race up there in Williamson County.
Okay.
But what's going on out there on the street in this race, canvassing?
I don't like my canvass results. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Really?
In fact, I've been so disappointed with them that we're looking at doing some TV ads to just try to get a different message into people and to prepare them and to get some more name ID. And so we're actually looking at that here in Central Texas.
So there you are, folks.
Some TV ads with the independent grassroots campaign.
So these poll numbers that they're feeding us, and they're kind of believable.
They're very believable to me. I spent 5 days up in New Hampshire, trouncing through the snow right before Christmas. And the Saturday before Christmas, we went to 75 homes in one day. Just about knocked us out. And I was a little bit shocked at the results. Now, we were going to traditional Republican voters, which is where we're the weakest. And you notice from the Iowa Jefferson County results, you notice what they did? They didn't spend their time on traditional Republican voters.
Right.
And what I was doing in New Hampshire, the list that I was given, it was traditional Republican voters, and it was not good for us.
Right. So
it's not good.
That's kind of what we ran into at the Texas straw poll.
Same thing.
Is we had the hardest of the hardcore Republicans still in the glass parking lot mode of the Middle East, etc. So those are the hardest ones. I would say spend your time phone calling those people during the hours where it's dark. Phone call those people, sort them out real quick. Find out that there's going to be a few of them that are on board. You do want to find those because that's how you multiply yourself and multiply your efforts. Don, we've got about 30 seconds left. Some last words.
Last words. Again, we keep going back to canvassing and door-to-door work. I need to emphasize to our people, and I'm talking about us and the people that are watching us, we are the political animals. And as much as I hate saying this, it's very true, and we have to keep it in mind that most of the voters out there are not passionate. They're not paying attention to issues like we are. And the way those people will be swayed and the way we can have the most influence is to be friendly.
That's it. Be friendly.
You're going to win more votes being friendly than talking about the Constitution.
We got 5 seconds. Don't light up passions in the enemy, folks.
That's
Thank
right.
you for tuning in. We'll see you next week, God willing.